friends? We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kendrin.
What up? What up? It is Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. If you've never been here before, welcome. We do a cross section of pop culture in real life. Today we have one of our mashup topics, and we're going to talk about relationship dynamics. So Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert have allegedly, they're fully divorced now, but part of Tiana's sort of assertion was that he became jealous of her. He was a big basketball star. For a bit of background, he was a big basketball star. She was a singer, but kind of career on pause, trying to figure out kind of what was next in her career, I would say, when they met. She was signed
He was more
to
socialite status by then, honestly.
right. She was signed to I think she was still signed to Good Music though, so to Kanye's
Yeah.
label. And so she was sort of in an in between. It seemed like she was in an in between space. So they get married, they have kids, and Iman is no longer playing basketball. He has moved into sort of acting in reality TV. They have a reality TV show together, and she has moved back into her bag, frankly, and
Mhm.
is doing a lot of stage production for the rap girlies, is doing lots of different things that's making her a bag, it seems. And
Mhm.
so it seems like the relationship dynamics have shifted a bit, and I wanted to talk about it.
I think that they like outside of the drama and chaos and confusion that was happening, what 2020, 21. I think that they grew apart. I think that to your point, yes, we already knew Tiana because she was like a singer, and then she was before she became got signed. She did that My Sweet 16
Mhm.
birthday party thing on MTV. That's where I remember first seeing her.
Same.
And just cute as a button. But like I think that as her star started to grow and his started to decline, that's when the mismatch happened. And also, like throughout majority of their marriage, they were in two different places all the time when he
Mm.
was still playing.
Oh, that's
Remember, like
true.
he would be like, because wasn't he for before he stopped playing? Wasn't he playing like for a team in Ohio or Arizona or something
Yeah,
like that?
he was with Cleveland for a while with the Cavs, and then he was with the Knicks, I think, last. So that would be
Yeah.
New York.
So with them living, especially in the early days of their union, them living, 6 months out of the year, kind of like Lala and Carmelo, in separate states and homes, living probably damn near separate lives. Like I don't imagine that that boded well for a good foundation between the two of them.
Yeah.
Um, it's unfortunate because I think the biggest thing that's lost is like the definitely the family unit, but also their relationship. They genuinely seem like they was homies, like good
Yeah.
friends, and it's sad to see the breakdown of that.
Yeah. Um, it brought up a question to me, or a thought to me, is like, does every relationship sort of have to have a dominant person or a star? Like, does
Mm-hmm.
every and it seems like to me like he was probably used to being the star, and
Mm-hmm.
it started to become that she was becoming the star. She's acting more, she's doing all the things. And like, is it always going to be an issue when dynamics change? And like we see this happen too, like when people, even like everyday mothers, take off a couple years to raise their kids and then they go back to work. It's like there's always going to be shifts in dynamics in relationships across the board. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the true marker of like a lot of successful relationships is how well they fare in these seasons. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
understanding that like sometimes it's going to be your turn and sometimes it's going to be my turn. And it's like it's going to have to go back and forth a little bit. And I think
Yeah.
maybe that was part of the demise.
Well, also I would say that I think that you have to know the partner that you're with in the sense that do
Yeah.
you have someone that's a team player? Like, can
Mhm.
they sit on the bench when you are at play? Is that
Yeah.
something that they and be okay in supporting you in all of your endeavors?
Mhm.
It getting back to what I said before, the beginning of their relationship, they was in two different places a lot. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know that that was solidified, and that we're critiquing from like a slither of what information that they presented to us, right?
Mhm.
But on a larger scale, they're the example for this conversation. But like, if that is how your relationship started, it doesn't seem as though there was room for that type of foundation to be built. Like,
Mm,
I'm going to be shaking and moving and doing all these things. And there's
yeah.
going to be times when I'm going to need you to be here to support me, and vice versa. They were shaking and moving at the same time.
Yeah. True. I think that's yeah, you make an interesting point. They were kind of shaking and moving at the same time. And it seems like to me, it seemed like she was sort of trying to find her way in the beginning of their
Yeah.
relationship, and he was comfortable with that as long as it because it didn't really interfere with what he had going on. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, but once it became sort of like I don't know that it's even still interfering, but once it became her that was sort of in the spotlight and they had to like really live together and try to make a relationship work in that sense. And I think this happens it and we're like you say we're using them as an example, but like I think this happens all the time. Like
Absolutely.
in all kinds of relationships. This happens all the time. Uh,
PK and Dorit,
yeah,
Mauricio and Kyle.
man, we see it all the time in the reality TV world. All the time of these men who are used to their wives being at home, being available, being at their whim,
Nene
at
and
their beck and call.
Greg.
I'm actually reading this is it's an old book. It's old, 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 but I just had it on my Kindle and I was like, "Oh, let me I was looking for some I wasn't looking for anything in particular and it just caught my eye. But I'm reading Padma Lakshmi, her memoir, and she was married to a much older man. And basically this is exactly the same thing happened. It was just like he wanted someone to basically adore him, and she was very
Mhm,
taken and smitten with him, and as soon as she started getting on TV and doing Top Chef, and doing all the things, being comment you know, all the things, having her own
mhm,
shows, having her own world, having her own travels where she couldn't just, like, circle around him, he, like, really had a problem with it,
mhm.
and I think you have to be honest and know that people are gonna grow and they're gonna change and evolve.
Yeah,
And where it may start one way, it may not it
it may
won't
not
be
finish
that way
that way.
forever. It likely won't be that way forever. And like you said, same for Dorit and Kyle. Is like, especially Dorit, it seems like PK was perfectly fine to spend his money on her and keep her in the finest of threads. But once she started to kind of have her own things and have her own say, it kinda collapsed,
Mhm,
so,
pretty much.
yeah, but
So,
life is long for a lot of people, and if you're lucky, life is long, so people are gonna change and evolve, and I think you have to leave room for that, otherwise you're gonna find yourself at a breaking point eventually,
yeah,
yeah, so
I agree. Y'all get down in the comments and let us know what your thoughts are about this particular topic. Not necessarily them as a couple, but
yes,
them as the example, because we mentioned a couple of other famous couples who have basically gone through this whole thing. Even though Greg and Nene found their way back together,
same,
they also had, like, she became the big star and then he was on the back burner and they split.
mhm.
Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah,
And of
let us
course,
know if
thanks
you
for
think
watching.
every couple has a star. Does every couple have a star? Not necessarily meaning like in terms of celebrity, but does every couple have a star? And can there be two stars at any given time? And is that a thing?
Is it a good thing?
Is it a
I'm
good
sorry,
thing?
I was
We're gonna
chuckling
find out.
because there's this song from like I don't know if it's present day or from like our parents' generations where it says every N word is a star. Have you
Yes,
heard
that's an
that?
old song. Yes. It's like our
Just
parents,
maybe started chuckling. Anyway,
definitely.
ADD brain. Yes. Thanks for watching, y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this conversation. See you in the next one, friends.
Like